I never believed in ghosts until that night at the old subway station in Brooklyn. What started as a late train ride turned into a nightmare I still can't explain. There were no passengers, no sounds, just echoes and something watching me. If you've ever felt truly alone in a place built for thousands, imagine realizing you're not. My name's Jimmy. It was supposed to be just another late night commute. I'd stayed overtime at the studio, working on a freelance edit that needed to be done by morning. I was tired, my head buzzing from hours of screen glare and cheap vending machine coffee. The streets of Brooklyn were almost empty when I walked toward the subway entrance at DeKalb Avenue. There was something off from the start, though I couldn't put my finger on it. Maybe it was the air, it felt heavier than usual. Or maybe it was the stillness. You know how even quiet nights in New York still have that low hum? That constant city breathing? This night didn't. It was silent, too silent. I tapped my MetroCard and headed down the stairs into the dimly lit tunnel below. The fluorescent lights overhead flickered in that way that makes you feel like you're walking through some old horror movie scene. You laugh it off at first because, come on, it's just a subway. But something about the way my footsteps echoed felt wrong. Hollow, the platform was empty, not a single soul in sight. Even the metro workers' booth at the far end was dark. No security guard, no noise. I checked my phone, 1:13 a.m. The next train wasn't due for another 12 minutes. I sighed and sat down on the cold metal bench. That's when I noticed something strange, an old newspaper. Not so unusual by itself, but this one looked ancient. Yellowed pages, brittle edges. The date printed on the top was April 2nd, 1974. I picked it up and instantly felt a chill run through my fingers. Not because of the paper, but because as soon as I touched it, I heard what sounded like a whisper behind me. I turned quickly, nothing. Maybe it was the wind. I glanced down the dark tunnel where the train would eventually come from. Still no sound, still no movement. Trying to shake it off, I sat back down and scrolled through my phone. No signal. Figures. I looked up at the overhead screen. It blinked. Delayed. Next train, 21 minutes. That didn't make sense. It was 12 minutes a moment ago. I waited. 10 more minutes passed. Still no train. Still no people. Still no sound, except for a soft tapping, like fingernails on tile. It was coming from the other side of the platform. I stood up, peering across the tracks. The opposite platform was dimly lit, shadows curling into corners. And then I saw it. Movement. A figure just at the edge of the light. It was facing the wall, not moving. A man maybe. But he wasn't doing anything, just standing, head slightly tilted, motionless. I felt this heavy pressure in my chest, like my instincts were trying to scream at me before my brain could catch up. I called out, "Hey buddy, you okay over there?" No response, no movement, just standing. Then, without warning, the lights on that platform flickered, and the figure vanished. Not walked away, not ran, just gone. That's when I felt it, the sense that I wasn't alone anymore. That something else was watching me now, not just from across the tracks, but from behind me. I turned around fast, heart pounding, and saw nothing. Just the empty tunnel stretching away. Except now the screen read, "Train arriving, stand back from platform edge." But I didn't hear anything. No rumble, no wind, no distant clatter of wheels against rail. I waited, watching. And that's when I heard the voice, right behind my ear. A whisper, barely audible, but sharp, like it had been waiting for me to hear it. "Too late to leave now, Jimmy." I froze. My legs refused to move. My skin broke out in cold sweat. I spun around, still no one there. The lights overhead flickered again, and for a brief second I swear I saw a shadow, not cast by anything, but moving on its own across the wall. I backed away slowly, heart in my throat, eyes darting everywhere. Then the tunnel lights at the far end blinked, and a shape emerged. A train. Number no sound, no motion, just lights. And yet, something was coming, something I couldn't explain. I stood at the edge of the platform staring down the tunnel, my breath shallow and uneven. The lights at the far end flickered again, longer this time. Then they went out completely. Darkness swallowed the tunnel. My eyes strained to adjust, but it was like the blackness had weight, like it was pushing back against me. I took a few steps away from the edge, clutching my phone again, even though I knew there was no signal. The glowing lock screen offered the only comfort in that moment, its soft light trembling in my hand. Then, something moved. No sound, no warning. Just movement. From the left side of the platform, a dark figure appeared, slowly walking toward me. I couldn't see its face, couldn't tell if it was man or woman. The silhouette was tall, thin, and seemed distorted, like parts of it shimmered, flickered even, like static on an old TV. I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. "Hello, are you okay?" No reply. The figure just kept walking, step by step, calm and deliberate, like it knew it didn't have to rush. I backed away, my heart hammering. I should have run. I know that now. But something about the air felt thick, like it was trying to hold me in place. My feet felt glued to the floor. Then the lights in the station blinked, once, twice, and the figure vanished. Just gone. Like it had never been there at all. I exhaled hard. My hands were shaking now. I turned around, trying to make sense of what was happening. And that's when I noticed something that truly terrified me. The station had changed. It sounds insane, I know. But the walls looked different. The posters that had been advertised in movies and phone plans were now old. Faded prints from another era. Ads in black and white. One of them showed a family smiling in front of a 1960s style television. Another one said, "Keep calm and duck. Air raid safety saves lives." I blinked, rubbed my eyes. It wasn't possible. I turned toward the stairwell, the one I had come down from just minutes earlier, and my blood ran cold. The entrance was gone. The staircase was bricked off. Solid wall. I ran to it, heart pounding louder than my footsteps. I touched the bricks. They were real. Cold, dusty, as if they'd been there for decades. "No, no, no," I muttered. I turned back toward the platform, toward the only escape, the tunnel, and that's when I noticed something even more disturbing. There were new people on the opposite platform. At first I felt relief, maybe help, maybe someone else had come, but no, they weren't moving. About 5 or 6 of them, all facing the wall, all wearing clothes from different eras, old trench coats, wide hats, tattered dresses. One had what looked like a World War II uniform. None of them turned, none of them spoke, and all of them were barefoot. The lights dimmed again. This time they didn't come back on fully, just a low dying glow as if the station itself was losing power. I took a step back, trembling. My breathing became erratic. I told myself it was a dream, a hallucination, something caused by exhaustion, but everything felt real. The cold tiles beneath my feet, the dry dust in the air, the coppery taste in my mouth like blood or rust. Then one of the people on the opposite platform turned around. Her eyes were wide, too wide. Her mouth was slightly open, but there was no expression on her face, just this hollow, lifeless stare. Like she'd seen something so horrifying that her soul left her body, but her body kept standing, and she pointed, directly at me. That's when the others turned too, one by one, all slowly, all pointing at me in unison. I stumbled back, fell against the bench, my head was spinning, I could barely breathe. Then I heard something from the tunnel again, not a whisper this time, but something like a slow dragging sound, as if something heavy was being pulled across the tracks. I turned toward the sound, heart sinking. In the darkness at the edge of the tunnel, 2 small lights appeared. Not train headlights, these were dimmer, lower to the ground, and spaced strangely. They blinked, once, then again, like eyes. Something was coming, crawling, almost slithering along the tracks, and behind it, laughter. Low, broken, echoing off the walls in a way that made my skin crawl. I screamed. I don't even remember what I said. Probably just nonsense. But I backed away as fast as I could, bumping into the tiled wall behind me, fumbling to find some exit, any exit. But the walls were seamless. The staircase was gone. And now, the tunnel lights were flickering again, closer this time. Whatever was crawling toward me was almost here. The laughter grew louder, clearer, and for the first time it had a voice that chilled me to my core. "Jimmy, you came back." The voice wasn't a whisper this time. It was inside the walls, inside me. I don't know how to describe it. It felt like it spoke from every direction, without air, without breath, just presence. I wanted to run, to scream, to wake up, but none of those things worked. I pressed my back harder against the cold tiles, hoping they'd break, hoping there was a hidden door behind me. Nothing. Then I saw it. The thing crawling along the tracks finally emerged from the tunnel's shadow. It wasn't human. Its body was long, twisted, with joints that bent the wrong way, like a puppet with broken strings. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, covered in a sheen like sweat or slime. Its head was human-shaped, but the mouth stretched far too wide, and the eyes were two hollow sockets that seemed to pull light into them. It stopped just a few feet from the edge of the platform, and even though it had no visible nose, I knew it was sniffing me. The pointing figures across the tracks hadn't moved, still frozen, arms out, accusing, watching. Then the creature spoke again, this time from its mouth. "You are the last one, the one who escaped." I couldn't speak. My tongue felt thick, heavy. My mind raced, trying to piece anything together. What did it mean? Escape? From what? I don't know you, I managed to whisper. It tilted its head, that awful too wide smile widening further. "Oh, but you do. You came here once, years ago. A child, lost, alone. We reached out then, but you ran. She helped you leave. That door is gone now." I shook my head. "Number, I've never been here before. I've never even used this line before today." The lights flickered violently. "Lies," it hissed. "You opened it. You saw. And now we're hungry." I turned and bolted, hoping, praying I'd missed something, some exit, emergency hatch, ladder, anything. I sprinted past the bench, down the platform. The air grew colder with every step, like I was running into a freezer. My breath fogged instantly. Then I saw something ahead. A door. Steel. Rusted, but real. I didn't think. I grabbed the handle, expecting it to be locked, but it gave way with a groan and slammed shut behind me. Darkness again. Only this time it was different. I was no longer in the station. I was in a hallway. Concrete walls, low ceiling, no lights, just that soft, bluish emergency glow that pulsed from unseen sources. I walked slowly, cautiously. Every step echoed with a hollow metal clang beneath my shoes. The air smelled like mildew and old iron. I heard water dripping somewhere in the distance. Then I saw the graffiti, not tags, not art. These were warnings. "Stay out. They feed on fear. Turn back or lose your name." That last one made me pause. Lose your name? As I stood reading, a soft humming noise filled the corridor. A woman's voice. Haunting, almost beautiful, echoing like a lullaby in reverse. I turned slowly. At the far end of the corridor, the lights began to blink, one by one, toward me, like something approaching. And beneath that melody, I heard footsteps. Not running, dancing. I ran again. The corridor twisted, bent in unnatural ways, angles that shouldn't have existed. I passed a stairwell, then a mirrored wall that didn't show my reflection, only darkness, like the glass was a window into somewhere else. Finally, I burst into a new chamber, this one wide, with an old wooden bench in the middle. A single candle burned on the floor beside it. Next to the candle lay a journal. My hands trembled as I picked it up. The first page had a name scribbled in the corner. Sarah K. The writing was frantic, torn in places. I flipped through the pages, reading entries from someone who had also been trapped here, someone who had found the door, just like me, and who had tried to escape. One line burned itself into my brain. "They trap you by memory. They feed on guilt. If you don't remember what you did, they'll force you to." I closed the journal slowly. My head started to ache. Images flickered through my mind. A girl, crying. A subway platform. A voice saying, "Don't leave me here." I didn't know her name. I didn't recognize the place, but something deep inside me stirred. Something I had buried long ago. Then I heard the voice again. This time from behind me, not the monster. A girl's voice. "Jimmy, why didn't you wait?" I turned around slowly. There she was, a little girl. Maybe 7 or 8, wearing a yellow raincoat too clean for this place. Her hair was dark and wet, clinging to her cheeks. Her eyes, those eyes were far too knowing for someone that young, and she was crying. Not sobbing, not wailing, just standing there, tears falling in silence. "I waited," she said, voice trembling. "I waited for hours, Jimmy. My knees weakened. I stumbled back against the stone wall. I don't know you, I whispered, but even as I said it, a wave of cold recognition washed over me. Memories I'd long buried clawed their way back, uninvited, relentless. I was 12, lost in a big city for the first time. My mother's train was delayed and I'd wandered off to explore. That's when I met her, Sarah. She was younger, alone. She said her parents had left her behind. I told her to follow me, to stay close. But when I heard the announcement for my train, I ran. I didn't look back. I left her there. I'm sorry, I said, sinking to my knees. I was scared. I thought someone else would find you. I didn't know. No one came, she said. They found me. Her voice changed then, deeper, like layered with something inhuman. Her shadow stretched behind her, but it twisted unnaturally, growing longer, sharper, alive. They said I could stay if I brought someone back, and I brought you. Suddenly the room trembled. The walls pulsed like living flesh, and that voice, the first one, the creature returned with a sickening laugh. Well done, little one, it echoed. Now the door is sealed. Let him remember. Let him feel what you felt. The candle at my feet flared, then extinguished. Total darkness. I felt her hand slip into mine, cold, small, unforgiving. And then the floor disappeared. I was falling, not down, but through memories, through guilt. I landed with a hard thud onto a tiled platform, but not the same one from before. This was clean, new. Lights buzzed above, trains hummed in the distance, people bustled past. I was back in the past. And there she was again, standing beside me, gripping my sleeve. Jimmy, she said, like before, don't leave me. I watched myself, a younger version, jerk his arm away. I have to go, my train's here. Wait, he ran. I ran, and she was alone again. Only this time I couldn't escape the moment. I felt her fear, her helplessness. I became her. Time shattered and I was trapped in her body, watching myself fade into the crowd, the lights flickering as the train doors closed. And then the shadows came. Tall figures, faceless, moving without sound. They surrounded her, me, and whispered promises. Come with us. We'll keep you warm. You will never be alone again. I screamed. Back in the real world, if this was still the real world. I woke on the cold, wet floor of the corridor. My fingernails were torn, my shirt soaked in sweat. The girl was gone, but the creature stood before me, closer now. Its skin shimmered like oil, and behind it, dozens of faces floated in the blackness. Children, adults, all lost, all forgotten. I told you, it whispered. You opened the door. You left her. That guilt, that's your ticket in. It leaned forward, and now it's your ticket home. It reached toward me with the hand of broken fingers. My body screamed to move, but I was paralyzed, not with fear but with understanding. This was my punishment, not death, memory. And just as it touched my chest, I blinked. I was standing on the platform, the real one, clean, empty. A train was arriving, the signs glowed correctly, the walls were no longer cracked or bloodstained. Had it all been? But no, in my hand was a small damp journal. The name inside still read, Sarah K. And scrawled beneath it, in my own handwriting, were 5 haunting words I had no memory of writing. She still waits for me. I left the station that night, but the station never left me. For days I kept Sarah's journal tucked in my coat. Every time I opened it, the pages were blank except for that one line. She still waits for me. I tried to forget. I avoided trains. I moved across the country, far from any subway. I told myself it was just a breakdown, a hallucination born from stress and guilt. But it kept happening. It started with the shadows. In reflections, mirrors, windows, even puddles, I would see a flicker. A little girl, yellow coat, always watching, never moving. Then came the dreams. I was back in the corridor. The candles burned low. The walls breathed, and her voice, now distant, echoed like a broken lullaby. You promised you'd stay. Each night the dreams pulled me deeper. The station felt more real than my waking life. I began to wonder, had I ever left? One night I awoke to find dirt under my fingernails, gravel in my shoes, a train ticket in my hand, issued New York City's subway authority. Date, February 14th, 1996. That was the night I left Sarah. I hadn't been in New York for years. Or so I thought. I tried burning the journal. It wouldn't catch fire. I buried it in the woods. The next morning it was on my pillow. I went to a priest, a therapist, even a psychic. No one could explain it. Some told me to confront the past. Others said I was cursed, but I knew the truth. There are places in this world, forgotten places, where emotion becomes energy and guilt becomes fuel. Sarah had become more than a ghost. She had become part of the station. And now, so had I. The final time it happened, I was walking past an old metro entrance in a quiet part of town. It was boarded up, closed since the 90s. As I passed, I heard it. Children laughing, a train arriving, and her voice. I turned, the boards were gone. The stairwell was open, and I walked down. I don't remember what happened after that. People say I disappeared, that I never came home, that my apartment was left untouched, my wallet and keys still on the table. No signs of struggle, only a journal, lying open on the bed. 2 lines written in black ink. I went back to keep my promise. She's not alone anymore. Some say it's just a story, urban legend, but if you ever find yourself in a station late at night and you hear soft footsteps behind you, or a child's voice calling your name, don't look back. Some doors, once open, never truly close.